Out of Isurus, believe it or not. You know, we've catched so many of these qualifiers. Isurus have been joining up in all of them, but it just hasn't been the case that I've been able to catch one of their games yet. So I'm excited to actually get an introduction into this team versus Arctic, who I will say have looked pretty solid for the most part, right? They still have their struggles versus some of the top teams. So you know, you still have that going for them. We just got to catch them taking on ninjaZ, and it was a struggle, right? But they did show some strength on Nuke, more so than on Inferno in that best of 3. So maybe having this as a best of 1 decider, with, like you had said, 0 pressure under their shoulders, could be a good sign.
And I mean, the added benefit is that, again, you get to start out on the CT side because you won that knife round. So you're going to get yourselves a little bit of leeway in this one, too. But I guess you do still want to convert this pistol. Probably the biggest hurdle in the half right now if you're Arctic. But Isurus are just going to wait this one out. Get ready to pull the pin on an A-side execution, or at least what looks to be, maybe even a dive down into the vents. Nock's going to throw this molly on top hut. And you could really go both ways depending on what you actually get here. So I like this call coming through from Isurus. And so far, it is just going to be an upper side attack. Now the bomb making its way down into lower. The round's going in, but still haven't been able to field a kill.
There you go. A couple of kills. Starting to fill the feed here. History. Stepping up with the USP. Closing out that outer yard. And somehow, this has gone horribly wrong. History finds another on the lurk there. And it's going to leave it all on the back of Reversive. We'll see what he can do here in this position. 1-on-4, not likely. Not even a bomb plant either. Ponter has coverage, and Arctic. A pretty strong recovery, given I don't think their positions were all that great in that round.
Oh, it definitely wasn't, right? I mean, the fact is they gave a lot of leeway to potentially go in down vents, but I'm just surprised you didn't see the lurk smoke come through from Isurus. They threw in the top hut Molotov, they combined it with some flashes, but I think that round really goes south because they don't throw in that lurk smoke out of squeaky door. They actually have to take gunfights before they can think about diving down, and you can see how much of an effect it has. I mean, they ended up losing the opening pick because of it.
Yeah, a couple awkward scenarios there for Isurus, definitely. But forced by here. No bomb plant, so it's a little bit less deadly, but you can still make do with the Tech 9s. Arctic do that quite well here. They've struggled historically on some of these eco rounds here in the RMR, so we'll see if they can show some strength here. Now it's in no man's land is ninjas, though. There's way too many Tech 9s starting to swarm around you. Luckily, though, Short gonna join forces in this lower bomb site. We'll be able to beat them to the punch on the rotations. Ooh, struggling to maintain, though, a little bit here. And we'll have to get that smoke down and get out of dodge.
Awkward smoke, but still looks like somewhat choreographed for Arctic, so this might be abused in an attempted one way, but now, speaking of abusing history, abusing this gap they've been presented on the flank, still a minute left and a couple of guns now fielded for this T side. All 3 players in which have armor, so aim punch, not anything they're going to have to worry about in a round like this, and Isurus would be absolutely starstruck if they were able to pull this one back. Still going to require a little bit more elbow grease that they just can't seem to deliver upon, though, with the Deagle of Luchov accounted for over in heaven. I don't think MaLLby will be committing to the fight, but certainly going to be putting one up. Running forward with the MP9, it's a good one, Deegan. It opens up the bomb site. They look to get the digits punched in, get this plant going, but the glaring issue right now for me and Arctic CT side is that they're completely separated from one another, and they're going to have to play this round in 1v1s.
Yeah, this isn't going to be pretty here. There's no kit either, so time is of essence. They got to make a move on here, and they got to make it quick. They've got great post-plans positioning going on right now. And Myron's going to take an aggressive angle here towards the mini side of things, spotting out that last player. Ponter don't want to deal with the Deagle headshot angle as well, man. They're given so many opportunities. Beautiful trade right there with the Deagle. And that's a beautiful round from Isurus. Like you said, some glaring issues coming through from Arctic. All of these duels are isolated fights. You can see ninjaZ in pretty much no man's land with around 4 or 5 Tech 9s towards his position, towards the outer yard. You see that, you know, I believe it was History tried to activate on the flank there, and he's good for a 1-for-1. All of these being 1-for-1 trades, all of these giving Isurus more chances to get into that round.
All they were looking for was a chance. They didn't go into that round thinking they were going to win it. They were more just looking for maybe an avenue to get the bomb down and look for some extra kills in it, but you can't complain with the result given. Now it's the force spike coming out from Arctic, and even a lot of damage dealt early onto this Opper. Nade and Molotov's going to isolate him over in mini. But they're not going to respect this smoke one bit. No, ninjaZ once again getting caught out, and they're just going to be sprinting into the A site. No real resistance here to meet them at the helm. This should be a very easy and freaky bomb plant. The question is, what's the response going to be from Arctic? Are they going to be able to find any sort of answer back?
These are rounds that you can make a case to save here and try your luck in the next one. Right? You're not going to really get into this round with a bunch of Deagles in a post-plant situation where Isurus have pretty much claimed site control within seconds, so yeah, that's what they're going to go for. Everyone's backing up, everyone's backing out. Arctic holding on to these deagles for another chance at doing damage in a future round, which I can't say I mind all that much.
Still under the weapons, I mean, considering you're going against the same bind in the next round, it's not like they're going to be rendered useless. Like, you can just let these Mac 10s lead the charge. And I like this too, right? Especially coming into these rounds where you are just going up against pistols. I mean, even though Isurus have had this weird pack mentality so far, it's like you can just send these Mac 10s into their death because you're not really losing all that much. You're gaining a lot of information. And when CTs are very prone to stacking up on rounds like this, it's just good to have somebody who isn't a big liability to lose. Because losing a Mac 10 is so much different than giving over an AK or a Galil.
Yeah, it makes the round a lot more scary, right? And you don't want rounds like that to be scary. You want it to be as easy as the last one. So maybe sending in some Mac 10 Superb versus that. Got all the smoke lineups right there towards the outer yard. And it's going to allow them to get some quick space towards this position as well. They know that they're up against Deagles, so those smokes are definitely going to be high value, enabling a bit of a cross here. Looking for some smoke spam. Nothing connecting, though. Finally, a couple shots, but damage is minimal.
And they hear these tags keep raining out and outside. Like, that's all confirmed damage. They're just going to keep spamming down short. Luckily enough, haven't found the kill just yet.
Dude.
Continuously spamming, though. I mean, he keeps taking this shift damage, and this is all being confirmed in by these secret players who keep saying, yeah, man, you're hitting him. He's sitting there, and he's not moving. Now you're going to have to, buddy. Yeah, you're not sticking around very much longer.
That's so insane. Yeah, great communication right there. Oh, and on the jump spot? I thought you maybe have caught a glimpse of them. Nice push towards the outer yard. History now on a 1D. They've got a player on top of the marshmallow as well, so Deco in dangerous territory here. Can they spot him out, though? There's a couple players actually walking around towards that outer yard.
It tells you how impactful it can be giving up one of these AK-47s. This is why history given yet another inch.
Another gun.
Both of the kills so far in from Arctic, and you're right, that is another gun. 4 on 3 as they go back down in for the retake. This flank position coming through from the silo. They're not going for this. I mean, it's not that bad of a call in my eyes, right? History saves the AK. He can buy into it off, drop the AK over, just make the funds a little easier on themselves. But imagine if Panther finds a kill here, right? Like, you'd be so upset at yourselves for not going for a 4 on 2.
Maybe a bit surprising right there, but you've done some damage here. Definitely make a case to hold on to that AK. I feel like the Galil, maybe not so much. There's still a lot of armor to be held on to, so they're going to walk into this first gun round with some great economy. But yeah, this is insane position. Ninja's going to find one. That bomb doesn't do as much damage, so there's no need for Iron to be going in there. Panther going to go down after time. No big deal there.
Forced a lot of rebuys. That was actually really well executed from Arctic, at least on that post hold. Ninja's just tucking himself up onto the box, waiting for them to come in his way. I mean, it's a really good way to cover these exits, considering you still had Panther in the backlines towards Secret. I think he just wanted a little bit more. I guess you can't be upset, though, right? Force 3 rebuys. Get yourselves an all coming into this round. You've got the whole 9 yards to try to find success here.
You gotta say what you can get right there, and doing damage is definitely important. History. Able to find a freebie right there before the smokes bloom. Iron jumping the gun just a little bit. Feeling a little bit loose there in the opening. Right, there's no pressure. So sure, why not go for plays like that? But sometimes it looks a bit silly here. Short gonna toss a smoke out in towards Mini in case he goes down trying to continue this aggressive movement towards the outer yard. And he spots out absolutely nothing. So some pretty solid spacing there. Ninja's with a pretty cool flash towards Squeaky Door to allow him to take a peek. And right now on the info game, Arctic are winning it every step of the way.
Oh, this is the bomb. Gonna be caught out. Great outside flank coming through from short. He took all of this info and all of this space, and now he's not even gonna stick around. At least for the time being, he tried to start to back away, but oh, that's a big catch. If he hadn't been taken down, all he has to do is just stay alive and create this false presence in Isurus' head that there's still somebody putting pressure on that outer yard. But now, even though you are still in this disadvantage, you just give them a little way back into the round. Still a bit of utility, too, as it comes flying over the biome site into the A site. But it doesn't seem like they're finding any leeway back in the kill feed here. Yeah, no, they keep sprinting out to their own deaths. Lucky to get this close out a single door, but as soon as you come up to Tetris, you've got 3 CTs to go in front of.
Far too much to deal with here. Now we're looking to dole out some headshots around the corner. You say cheese. Just keeping at bay, making sure he doesn't sneak down the fence is probably a key to winning this round. Panther going to close it down. Up to 2 now is Arctic. And with damage done in the round previous, they're definitely looking pretty here in terms of getting close to cracking the code, getting close to cracking that economy. Reversive can drop a AK or two, and that'll allow them to get one last buy-in here, but it does put a lot of implications, a lot of pressure on this round for Isurus, so we'll see if they can close it out here and now.
I need to. Again, if Isurus break the backside of their economy once more, I mean, even if they just start cherry-picking these rounds, this half's already going to start to look to turn for the worse. Earlier, Arctic, they had a little bit of success on Nuke, as you previously mentioned, but that was mainly off of what they were able to accomplish from that CT side. So I don't have much faith in their offense on this map. I mean, in their offense at all, it didn't look all that impressive today.
Yeah, not super strong, right? I think the only one single round on T side, if I'm not mistaken, so they want to give themselves as much room to work with here coming into this first half, giving them that kind of strong start that maybe can enable them in the future. Isurus, though, throwing some good utility sets. Again, they know the implications of this round. They're trying to take some space. Myron got early picked off in the previous round, trying to lurk about towards the outer yard, and that's a great molly. Look at that, how it separates the offense right there. They're all making their way through the squeaky door. No one's coming through hut, and it's just a decimation there on the A site. Great play coming through from Arctic to separate that offense right there, and there's nothing that Reversive can really do.
You look like they already counted out, to be honest with you. He's just going to go ahead and back away, but I don't know how far he's going to be able to gather because you still got this push coming back in through short. He continuously is putting on this pressure outside, and I like this from Arctic, right? I mean, you had a couple of rounds back where ninjaZ, I mean, he found a 1-for-1 trade against the Tech 9s, and most teams at that point would be like, okay, gonna be a bit difficult to try to find multi-kills out here. We shouldn't really contest, but that's not what Arctic tell themselves, and I like that because you can't just get in your own heads and think, we need to stop fighting for one of the biggest choke points on the map just because we lost it a couple of times. Really good stuff from them.
That's lights out right there in that defense, man. That molly does so much. As soon as there's presence coming through from Isurus on the A side, just tossing that molly down, separating that offense, making them funnel through the squeaky door. All of those on an A side execute is exactly what you want to do. You want to get them coming through that one angle. You can cut off separate prongs. Even ninja's covering that mini side of things is massive. So everyone's stepping up to the plate there in that round for Arctic, leading them to a pretty solid victory here. And they should be able to spiral off that. Momentum should be building here. Ramp attack coming through, and Bonter has a chance of a lifetime. All of them moving past his crosshair. He will get run down eventually, but he'll take 2 down with him, and that's not too bad at all.
He's going to be a slam dunk too, or at least so I thought. Reverse just barely gets out of the dodge in time, so all in all, not too bad, not too shabby. Isurus again find a couple of kills, a handful of them. But Arctic are the real victors here, who finally get themselves back out in front and go up against the Rifles once more to try to extend that.
That they will. Guns out. Gonna bound here once again. No AWP presence for Isurus just yet, but not the end of the world on a map like T-side Nuke. Sure, it can be useful, but certainly not necessary. They keep up with this outer yard utility. I feel like, to Arctic's credit, they've been able to constantly press the issue with the op of History, and with ninja's playing very close, but this time History's down. Oh, and that's a double entry coming through from the duo right there of Nox and Luchov. One more around the corner, but the molly's going to keep him at bay, and that's going to be that ramp room claimed. On top of that, they're scaling quickly in towards this B side.
I mean, they're still going to give this a go-ahead on the defense. You've got ninjaZ here trying to put up a fight. If he finds 1 or 2 picks, all of a sudden, Arctic can pull this one back. You've got Nox leading the charge on low HP. Trade potential is going to be limited, but you don't need a trade potential if he just finds the kill on the opener. Arctic forced back to a save, and again, this lead is short-lived. Instant tie called back up, and the lucky thing for them is this op is recoverable. Isurus, they didn't take it away, they didn't janitor it up, they didn't mop it up to the end of the ramp room and hold on to it. They can go ahead and grab it if they go ahead and get investigative, and I think that's what they're gonna do. No, oh wow, this is really unfortunate for them.
And it is. Okay. They'll be good for now. They should be able to hold on to these. But tying up 4-4 here. Money's still pretty strong for Arctic to continue to get investments, but man, I wonder what went wrong. History usually so sharp on those positions, usually so solid, but not able to take care of that opening pick. And they it all comes down to history finding that kill, right? It has to start off well for that round. Otherwise, you're going to see Arctic struggle to offer up a defense, right? Because his teammate around the corner is supposed to be the one that finds that second kill. It's going to be a 2-for-1 at the very worst. At least it should be if history finds that op shot in it. Instead, missing that first one, it just brings that setup to a complete collapse.
At least they're able to get these rifles back out, right? A little W taken for Arctic, but how long will that little W stand? Because they found an opening pick, but again, it's been the responses in the late rounds that have really screwed over Arctic so far. With the bomb potentially trapped over in Hut. Yeah, it needs to be recovered, and they keep going 1-for-1 into the angle of MaLLby. Kind of been quiet in the past couple of games, but it's good to see him showing up so far in this one. Now, the only real task for Myron is to find an extra couple of kills, but one isn't the answer he was looking for. Upgrades come around the board for the Arctic CT side, and they're able to stay out in front.
Yeah, swift answer back right there is really crucial. Like you said, man, MaLLby very vividly remember this guy. I think at one point 0-9 for the Arctic camp on Dust 2 in the second map when it looked like maybe Corinthians could start bouncing back. The guy picked up the heat to make sure that they got this qualification, right? And that's a really, really good sign. Even when players are having bad starts to games, Arctic are able to, you know, mentally bounce back into things, and MaLLby specifically mentally bouncing back because he was one of those players that was kind of a win condition here. History being set up, though, in the meantime, towards that out of yard. What is that adjustment? Blinded up, but still lands it onto Deco. That's a work of art right there.
And history's making up for that last couple of rounds. I mean, again, it was very uncharacteristic of him to drop that frag over in the ramp room like we talked about. So now he switches up his alternative, or he goes to his alternative approach, and works out well for him. Still staying alive, and I think he's still trying to put the pressure on here. Or no, he's transitioned back in CT spawn. Maybe to try to help out Ponter. I mean, a couple of players had run through ramps, so he is going to need that help if it's continue to push the envelope here. But ninjaZ seems to have things out of control in the outer yard. It's all up the reversive. He's got the bomb on his back, but again, it's just going to be up to trying to find some kills here. Maybe if you're lucky, get the digits punched in. There's a glaring gap, though, on the A site, and they gave him a chance of finding the kill, but ninjaZ is just too damn clean. A hat trick for a 6th on Arctic's camp.
Yeah, lovely work being done right there. Closing things out. And just stepping it up here in a big way, man. Very solid on the rifle. Love that he has an AK in his hands as well, because he is just farming up a storm right now. Like you said, history stepping up in rounds as well is so crucial, right? Trying to make good on previous mistakes, and that's exactly what he's just done in that last round, starting things off with some opening picks. And I like that they're setting him up for success as well. They're going to go back towards this ramp room, though. That same MaLLby being thrown out, this time a different setup though. Oh, and a rush in towards history. He's up. He can only chamber in one shot at a time. And he's stuck in the back lanes. He does find one. Can he find more though? That's the question. No, he's going to get chased down, ran down. Now an op recovered as well. And he lands a shot. Myron's starting to do some damage here.
If there's anybody you didn't want getting their hands on this gun, it's Myron, man. And that's why. But he's still got the bomb on his back, so he's going to be a bit of a hindrance as soon as he goes to punch in the digits, right? Because the only thing that's going to be left to cover him is a measly Tech 9. But right now, it's all about buying some time for Short to come back through on the flank. Though clearing out the A site, it's a false gap. It's a false sense of security. Isurus try to abuse a reality that's just not there. You still got Deco, I believe, trying to get that bomb back. But they're splitting themselves apart. This is not the way to win rounds like this. Even coming back in through J-Hall, not hurt. Oh, you've got a world of places to try to clear. And this is not going to be one of them on your radar.
Good news is actually crunching in here, and I think you do see MaLLby trying to make his move on. But he needs to do it soon. Short and a bit of a scary position. Nice kill from MaLLby, though. That's massive coverage. Tech 9 left to close. Deco, like you said, just not on his radar right there. That's going to be a 7th mopped up. A bit scary, but Short comes in clutch for the recovery right there, dropping that bomb. And I'm not sure exactly why they were so interested in a reposition there towards the A side there with sending that bomb in alone. I feel like if you find a couple picks towards that ramp room, you want to go down towards B quickly. But either way, it was just an eco, and Isurus made it scary. So you got to take your victories where you can.
It's weird because it felt like the disadvantage came with their advantage, if that makes any sense. Like, the only reason they went back up for that upper-sided transition is because Nox, instead of going down lower with them, went through J-Hall. And with that in mind, he goes up into heaven, sees nothing in A, and says, you know what? We know somebody's down lower. We know they're waiting for us to try to plant the bomb. Let's just reposition back out. They just didn't account for that second player in Short. And if Mox had gone back down into the ramp room before the bomb had transitioned up, like, that's a free round. Short's not going to expect the player to come back through J-Hull, and it's just an easy catch. But since that doesn't happen, since we're not living in the fairy tale land, Arctic are able to close out a freebie round, or at least what should have been, in a bit of a close fashion, albeit.
Oh, good
You can tell
Lord.
there's a sour taste on the tongues of Isurus.
Jesus Christ. History just got destroyed right there. What a beautiful shot. Good shove. A risky peek from him as well. You never want to be peeking that as a rifle, I feel like, for the most part. But as long as you get that pre-fire down, as long as you got your angles covered, why not go for it? Short. Oh, he's going to be caught in no man's land here. A firing squad on the other end of things. That's a lot of information revealed here. They're going to walk into ninjaZ up here. He's picked it up off his fallen teammate. He steps up wide. He goes very deep on the stairs. 2 kills in, and he has a teammate right around the corner. Reverse somehow recovers it, though. A double kill from him. Poncher's going to beat him to the punch, though, on the B side here. He's making his rotations in towards the site already.
Yeah, I actually really like this play coming out from Isurus. They just take some contact and say, all right, where is he? Is he on B? Because if he is, he's just going to take this bait as soon as I pop open the door. But quickly transitions back up into heaven, maybe quicker than they would have expected, but you still got players posted up on this angle. Health is low, but they both got 2 kills apiece. Now even info spotted, and this last flashbang is going to be thrown out. Where's the shot, though? That's the question. Right under you, and it blinds him up. Maybe there was a world there if he didn't get blinded up. A couple of falling shots, maybe some luck factored in, but not just here, not just now. Isurus able to get that 5th. It feels like they should have got it earlier is what I'm going to try to hint at. Because with how close some of those previous rounds were, it almost feels like it was robbed from them in some cases.
Yeah, no doubt, right? They had so many chances with a couple of close ones, but round's not close enough for Arctic to be put onto an eco just yet. They still got very solid weaponry going out here once again. So Isurus, the test is going to continue. Can they find anything extra? I feel like 5 is pretty solid here for the T side. But anything extra would be massive. That would definitely be some confidence builders, especially knowing that the history isn't great here on Nuke for the T side of Arctic.
Oh, most certainly isn't. And while they do sit in a fairly comfortable lead, you need to see quite a bit more from them. A 9-6 half, I don't think is going to cut it, but probably won't be throwing up any complaints if that's going to be the end result. Good early damage, though. Now you've got to find it in the kill feed. 2 players starting to crouch walk out the single door. Head spotted, and the first kill delivered. While the trade's back, you've still got a couple more hurdles to try to jump through if you want to actually crack into the A site properly. Short jumping through that heaven Molotov, and what I don't really feel like was all that necessary to do. Still a man over in hut, though, and that's MaLLby, who's going all the way around through lobby, completely undetected. He's got his UAV kicking in, apparently. Even sound isn't going to be heard from Isurus. But coming around every single way, it feels it's flankers flanking the flankers right now for Arctic, and same thing goes for Isurus, but this time MaLLby's aware. Bomb trying to transition back in to find this trade. He's stuck in the corner, and he wants to drop in the Molotov, but he doesn't get anything out in time. 1v1 Ponter creeps back in from hut. Does Luchov? No, he does. He peeks back in and finds 4 Isurus. Not only take themselves a 6th, not only go within 1 from tying up the game, but break the cash of Arctic's back.
And a sick round right there from Luchov to do it as well, man. What a couple of kills he was able to gather right there, man. Honing in on those last 2 players' positions. Headshots as crisp as ever. And now it's going to be Isurus on the verge here of grabbing themselves a winning half. You convert off this, kind of disjointed by a Deagle and MP9 up in the hands of history still, which is a good sign. But if you grab this round here, it's going to mean so much. It could convert a winning half, and that's where things get far past the point of scary. Luchov gets sent with a flashbang in towards the site, but can't adjust in time for MaLLby. History trying to shotgun up inside of hut, finds 1, finds 2, making a triple here. Absolutely destroying them on the inbound, and he does exactly what he needs to do with that hero op. He steps up with 3 big kills on the inbound there. Ponter feeling some confidence, but he gets shut down quickly, and Myron trying to fight his way out of this situation, but you don't like his odds in the 1-on-4.
Yeah, where do you go right now, bro? Like, everywhere you look, there's another CT ready and waiting. Short, even almost biffing the opportunity, but still gonna come away out on top. Arctic, I guess they do maintain their advantage and take the half regardless. But this last round is kind of a need, more so than a want.
Yeah, they definitely need to close out that round. They need to close out this one as well. Otherwise, they would have been a winning half for Isurus, most likely. At least they would have been dealing with a force buy, so.
Right.
Good stuff from them. Great stuff from history as well, man. Important. that he finds a multi-kill. Otherwise, it would have been scary stuff. That A site was getting collapsed upon quickly.
It still feels like the only thing on our minds, though, is the fact that so many of these rounds are just stolen away from Arctic, whether it's pistols and ecos not really being won, whether it's struggles being had on these rounds that shouldn't be. And now, even though you are going to add up to what should be a 9-6 finish, if you can't convert this pistol, you're really going to start to look back to those ecos and think, what if we hadn't lost those? Could be getting ahead of myself, though. Still got to win this.
Yeah, definitely a half that I feel like if you're Isurus, you're kind of happy with. Maybe Arctic's somewhat nervous, but also I don't think that Isurus are the same caliber that ninjaZ have shown us today, so.
True. Could be a completely different format of the CT side, but look at this time they're taking right now for Isurus. And this is kind of the bane of Arctic right now, who have given up all of this lower control, and they're really just stacking short down here off of a whim. They have to leave a gap in the defense, and this is always going to leave that element of doubt in their mind. MaLLby comes back into ramp, and it looks like they finally want to pull the pin on this activation. This is what I'm talking about. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You still have to win the round. And Nux, he is just DMing with the Tech 9 right now, running all around the map and still able to find some of these conversions. It's a 3-on-4 trying to crack back in to an already lost bomb site. History and MaLLby, how do you even fathom pulling this back? Well, not jumping down the vents, I'll tell you that much. History and the 1-on-4, and with the AWP, it's his weapon of choice, but it's just not the key to success. 8-7 Isurus, a very close T-half.
Yeah, that's a very good half right there. You got to be happy with that one. Getting extra. You do think about what could have been if you were able to capitalize on a couple of those close rounds that you were getting, but for the most part, if you close out an 8-7 scoreline, that's more than enough for a T side here on Nuke. And now it's going to be the pressure applied onto Arctic, right? We've seen them earlier on this T side. It didn't really offer that much versus ninjaZ. It's just maybe less likely to absolutely decimate the opposition in the same way ninjaZ was able to do. But maybe that lack of confidence could be still standing, right? That fear, that struggles. Or, you know, maybe they get to look at their T side after that map and like, hey, we did this and that wrong. So we could see either result here coming through from Arctic. We'll just have to see which one they came through with.
I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because that series against ninjaZ earlier is literally just going to be, okay, guys, we need to look back at this before we leave and go to the RMR. And that's kind of what this one's going to be, too. You have to look back at the CT side. You have to see why did all these ecos consistently go wrong? Because one or two of them is like, yeah, okay, maybe it's just a small mistake we made in the moment. It's not really going to happen consistently. But with how many ecos Isurus won and made close, like you think, I think they won, what, 2 or 3 of them? And they should have had another. That was a 3-on-2 that barely went their way because Short had somehow been able to get in ramp and got a lucky conversion out of the bomb carriers. So there is some glaring issue that Isurus were able to abuse consistently to find that eco success.
Yeah, and they did consistently, so I like this setup, though, that we got going on. Arctic coming in with some interesting bit of util here. In front of Squeaky Smoke, followed by a top MaLLby. They're looking to take that out of yard control in the meantime. They don't utilize that utility too much at all. Nice shot. Nailed from long range. Dude, another one hit from Ponter.
They're even trying to flash in to find this opening pick. Isurus are already set up for disaster right now. Deco even peppering some bullets back in response through this mini smoke, but finally going to vacate and go back into the site. Now just waiting. Arctic await their food to waltz back into their crosshairs, but Isurus, I don't think they have any intentions on doing that right now, considering 2 players add up to 6 health, bro. I think you're just going to go ahead and turtle up.
Right now, I'm keeping my eyes out for ninjaZ right now. He's under heaven, and I think he's waiting to help out for this A-side attack here. It could be huge. They're going to have 3 separate prongs of approach towards this A-side. It all depends on if they can reclaim this control towards lobby, though. In the meantime, Arctic are doing a great job of selling presence here towards the B-bomb site. MaLLby completely distracting them, and now they start to reclaim this control. They found the first kill, 1 more in hut to find, and they're going to have 3 different positions to come from.
I don't care what kind of player you are, man. Reverse, if you can do as much as you want, try as you may, and do as you must, you are not going to be able to single-handedly win this round, or maybe you are. They've given him the bomb, and even trying to flick around for Ponter. That could have been a round-depicting kill, but still 3-on-3 is closer than this should have gotten. And now with a couple of low bars, it's turned all more doable for Isurus with a beautiful tap added in from Luchov. They continue to eat back at this one. 2-on-2, and it's those two players who were initially dinked up so low. Myron and Nox, they have to play these headshot angles. They know where both players are, but what can you possibly do about it? We've shown our hand. Okay, now counter it, and they just can't. 1 HP in a dream, no kit, not even the ideal weapon for the job. Flash comes out from Mini, and they give him a couple of isolated duels, even picking up one for his own, but with no kit, all ninjaZ has to do is play to the timer, man. You know he can't win this round, and Arctic have earned themselves the T-sided pistol.
That was a very sick setup as well, man. Great multi-pronged approach towards that A-side execute. I love that they get ninjas tucked in towards heaven to help out with that from above. They have so many different prongs to that, and even the fact that they were so diligent about retaking that control of lobby. All the boxes being checked here for the opening pistol for Arctic, and we'll see if that trend stays true. You're coming up into what is a pretty crucial anti-force buy from them. They got to close this one out, and then we can start talking about Arctic building up some comfort here on the T side.
Yeah, because that round was not comfortable if you're Arctic, considering how it started out and everything you were given off rip. The fact that it comes that close is going to keep that shadow of doubt in your mind. Force buy comes back, though, so if there's any chance to really try to put the dagger in Isurus' CT side off rip, it's here. Reversive, sat atop the hunt. MaLLby thinks of this. He has a suspicion that this play's coming through, and I even thought he was going to spawn in there for a second above the smoke, but just not able to capitalize in time, and now you reset back.
Positioning here from the T side. Got themselves tucked in towards secret. 3 players ready to go. A couple players watching lobby so that Isurus can't retake control elsewhere on the map here. And it's going to apply a lot of pressure on just one deagle and lower bomb side. I believe that's Myron jump spotting in. But jump spotting is exactly what you want to do here. Boost above it. And yeah, that's just an absolutely beautiful play coming through. Short gonna find the opener. That's gonna be a MaLLby dropped and give it over to ninjaZ as well. One has come through in rotation but spotted out. And the collapse is far too deep. They're pressing the issue. Scout shots are landing here. Oh, they cannot find MaLLby in time. Not able to adjust. And the chase is in from ninjaZ to close. It's 10 now on the board. They do get that critical anti-force buy.
Critical might even be an understatement for that one too. Imagine if you're Arctic and you dropped that. Potentially even game deciding. Again, not something they have to worry about now, as they're only going up against the USPs. Arctic should be poised for an 11th. It's after that where you start to think what they're going to be able to do and actually accomplish it on this T side. Call me crazy, but I want to see Arctic lose 2 players here. Because if they lose 2 players, everybody's surviving with rifles and the rebuys are going to come through. They're not going to be going into a bonus round with a Mac 10. I think you need to bring out your A game. I don't think going for an interim bonus round is going to be the key to success.
That's a good point, right? You got to make sure that you're building up as much force respect as you can here. That's going to be the key. Especially with a couple of Gleals. I mean, it's not going to be the prettiest of buys if they don't reinvest. And bonuses are always scary when it comes down to, you know, trying to give up momentum here to the T side. I guess it all depends on what sort of ideas they have coming into this round, right? If you're going for an A-pop, sure, you can hold on to a Mac 10 or 2. Probably just one in this occasion. MaLLby has that, but if not, if you're going to try and do those slow defaults, you know, slowly working that outer guard, then I think it's important that everyone has the best firepower possible. They've given over the Mac 10 to short, so clearly they have an idea for him.
I mean, it's also somewhat choreographed, though, right? Like, you know they have a Mac 10, so you're going to expect something potentially fast off rip, and you're probably going to be ready for it.
Yeah. We'll see if they come through that expectation. Short catching some block here at the util, but he is making his way quickly, utilizing the mobility of that Mac 10 to the utmost importance. Uh-oh. MaLLby figured out his way down there eventually. And now you got 2 players down secret all the while. The cutoff point inside events here is definitely going to create some chaos here for the T side, or CT side rather. This is a great positioning right now from Arctic.
Just a learning curve, it's all it was. But look at all this wasted out utility from Isurus. They've got 3, 4 flashes and 1 MaLLby left to try to stop in what Arctic are going to throw at them. So even though no kills come through, even though they don't really take all that much space, like this is a W. This is a subconscious W, considering all the utility they baited out. And there goes that last smoke.
Nice start though. Luchov going to open things up with a beautiful headshot. Nox has control of the ramp side. Now we're starting to drop here. Flashman, we'll see if it's on the money. Not quite. Oh, no. Ponter gets blinded up by it, in fact. And maybe it bought him a bit of time here, but Nos is continuing to fire off with the AWP. Trades coming through from Reversive. This is a great collapse. Walking into that ramp room might have been the worst case scenario right there for Arctic, given all the space, because that was where the brunt of that defense was lying in.
Catching a bit of the short end of the stick there, definitely, if you're Arctic. But the rebuy is going to come through. It's not the end of days just yet. You lose this round, though, and it might be. You don't want to let Isurus get the ball rolling on this CT side. So I think trading rounds back out with them back and forth is definitely optimal. It's one of the very rare and few cases that that's the case.
Another Macked in for short. And again, he's just taking all this space. It's like a repeat of last round. Make your way as quickly as you can down towards Secret. The issue is, Deco's already been met here in the lower bomb site. They're replaying the last round. And this time, Deco's made it down the fence just in time to deal with the two players right there. That's a massive multi-frag from a guy who's been relatively quiet throughout this map.
MaLLby even chirping up too. This is going to be an instant take for Isurus, man. There is no chance at a response from Arctic. You need a bomb plant, though. And ninjaZ is going to try to do that, even throwing the smoke out towards the double doors. He's been given a little bit of leeway, even clearing out the Raptors. He spotted Deco, but rotations are in and here. It's 1 versus 4, and going to have to be an ace if ninjaZ wants to pull this off.
It doesn't seem all that likely here. Oh, no, Diamond Sparrow spotted, but oh, what a nice adjustment there from Nos to close things out. And Isurus, they're quickly getting back into this one on the CT side. So far, the gun rounds have been flawless from them, and early on, you're getting a T side timeout from Arctic. They've got enough money to maybe justify a half buy here at the very best, but running into some similar issues. Trying to repeat that play, I don't even mind it because they sent more presence down Secret instead of trying to claim that ramp control, right? So that's exactly what they, the issue that they ran into last round, they're trying to avoid it in this round. The issue is, though, that Deco was already down the fence this time, and he was able to cut off that aggressive play from Arctic. So nice adjustment from Isurus as well.
Yeah, that was very clean. The fact that they only lose 1 player, too, ensures that the bank is going to start to be built up for Isurus and Arctic. They want to force buy, I think, maybe to try to counteract that. Like, if you're able to find 3 kills here in a bomb plant, then ultimately this is worth. These force buys, the end goal isn't always something like, oh yeah, we need this to be a win. More so, we need just a little bit of magic to go our way.
No doubt. We gotta get something going. Deco's position made note of by the Arctic camp. With this smoke coming out here. And Nuchov getting that utility down as well. Oh man, they just cannot seem to find Deco. Being very elusive inside the vents here. Consistently dealing with some of the plays that Arctic are going for. They are always trying to utilize that fence lurk. MaLLby has been going down there every single round. Limited success, granted.
But it does really look like Isurus are starting to wake up and resurgent on this CT side. Boost above the vents, could catch at least 1. Myron going to be blindsided by that. And that's going to be another one of those gimmicks that's not necessarily a consistent success factor, but so long as you're able to pick something up off it, doesn't have to be. 3 kills, there it is, even spotting the player coming up through the vents. It's a distraction from both sides of the coin, but this bomb is going to be allowed safe passageway in planting. Flash comes up, not even able to find the kill. And you leave it to the arms of history as they both come sprinting up to a mini smoke. 1v1, he's pulled it off, he's made it close, and history's got the clutch. Even recovering the op, Arctic's first T-sided round comes off of a miracle.
Oh my god, that round is just massive from history, closing that one out. What was that, a 2-on-5, a 3-on-5? Because they had no business getting into that round right there. Arctic claiming that one is a massive mistake from Isurus. Look where it leaves him off at. There's a Deagle, no armor, and Myron, he's tossed over that op to Nos, who's been very good with it so far, but it's going to limit this defense. It's going to apply some pressure here, and Arctic have to really capitalize off this. If they can win this round, they're going to be inching closer to that first seed here in the 3rd qualifier.
It's on the tip of their tongues, too. Right at their fingertips. Knocks. Oh, that's a risky amount of damage to allow to slip. And again, these banks are no longer built up. In fact, every single penny used on this investment. Very risky, but an all-in play almost required if Isurus want to stay in this half.
Gotta pack unit towards the side of yard. ninjaZ. Oh my god, what did he even spot there? Maybe a gun barrel sticking out through the smoke, but Luchov gonna find the opener. And oh man, a lot of success followed up off the back of it. Sure, you can land a shot there for short, but no success consistent. History finally gonna find a trade here back. Maybe things start to look their way. MaLLby's hearing this rotate. He has to check his corners though. Spotting out some heads. And MaLLby can't adjust in time. Look who's right around the corner though. 18 HP on Nos. He has to land this shot. All important here. Getting close in for multiple different fronts. MaLLby doesn't spot him here.
He knows it's an op too. 1 HP is the difference, and he hits the leg on the fall down. Oh, that's so big. A chance given again over to Arctic. Back-to-back clutches required. The attempt is in, and it's all up to Deco to deny the force from Isurus. It started off so well. They even found the opening couple of picks, but Arctic's responses in this half have been nothing short of phenomenal.
Oh,
and
no.
speaking of it, it's MaLLby shutting it down. Arctic moved to 13.
That's a disaster right there for Isurus, man. Their days are numbered right now, it looks like. Opportunities squandered. Another 5-on-3 converted from Arctic with ease as well. They find those 2 opening picks, man, and off the back of that, I don't know what exactly is going on in their mind, but they get into way too lackadaisical in terms of falling off in some of these angles, right? You can see a great start from Luchov to find the opening pick, right? But then he falls out of line, pretty much back turned to all of the outer yard. And that just cannot happen. You gotta know that there's potential around the corner there. And this round is a gimme, a sure win here. A kill dropped out on that A side here, but that's all they'll find. Everyone else mops up easy as you like, and Arctic on to 14 here. 1 off of claiming series point. 1 off of walking in to the RMR with the first seed. At least in third qualifier. I don't know what exactly that means, but it wouldn't be too bad. A little extra credit.
Sure. And this is still really impressive considering what this game started off at. Like, 8-7 lead. Like, that's bad. That's bad for a Nuke CT side. And they've only let 2 rounds slip. This is so clean so far from Arctic, man. This T side has been something to note.
Been pretty exciting, especially with the struggles here versus ninjaZ. Again, we're talking about some different calibers. Oh, Isurus, a little bit different than ninjaZ, right? Completely different opponent. They bring in different levels for sure, but it's promising. At least you're seeing some improvement, and very quickly so. You just got to see this team on Nuke, and it didn't look too pretty in that second half for them once they hopped into that T side. Now it is. Now they're finding clutches, they're finding big rounds, and they're, well, I guess for the most part, coming in with some good strategy and working that map control here. Again, with the outer yard smokes late into the mid-round. Luchov, multiple mollies thrown down, but he's used all of his deterrence utility. Only a HE in his pockets.
Oh, this could be a big opening. Pick history has Nox's name written up to the scoreboard. There goes the EWP. And Myron's found the response, but he is getting cornered in by 3 different keys. You're not escaping, my friend. All you can do is fight and hopefully end it off on even footing. Give your team a fighting chance to close out this round instead of you. 3 rifles remain for Isurus, and the op still needs to make its way into one of these bomb sites. 40 seconds to go, and you can tell with Arctic's pathing and movement, they are definitely favoring that upper side of the 2. But they know somebody's got to be coming in through heaven. What's the response going to be? Well, speaking of a response,
hello.
There's one from Deco. Even on the top of the silo, it's going to force some pressure to be pushed in. You've got to just activate here on the A site. Again, coming in through lobby, Luchov is going to find that trade, and again, it's going to be up the short. Another clutch for him to try and attempt as he comes flying back in. 1 from Tetris and 1 from Mini, but I don't think they've spotted him falling in just yet. Smoke deployed, and he's got to get the digits punched in. Instead, peeks out. He finds the 1-for-1 trade, but honestly, that's not all that bad for Arctic, considering you drop 4 guns. They're going to have to go without the op, and there's going to be a lot missing on this next reinvestment.
Yeah, what a wonderful attempt right there from short. Nice try. At the end of the day, doesn't swing you away for Arctic. Not the end of the world at all. They have chances to quickly answer back here. And in terms of consistent success, that's been Arctic's camp all day. They have been able to find it here. Again, they give short the MAC-10 here. Has to take the short end of the stick there. But you can make work of it.
I like this from Arctic. Again, just hyper aggression thrown out every now and then. They try to do this. They change up the pace and really see if they can't get in Isurus, rather their opposition's faces. And they feel full outside control. There's literally no resistance here. The first line of defense is going to be Myron down the vent to the lower bomb site, and they've already dropped so much utility just to counteract this early play. Look at what they've got left. 2 flashes of smoke and a nade with 1.5 minutes left in the round.
Yeah, that's a credit to how much damage they did in the last round. There's just not a lot of utility to bring to the table here. And like you said, they take this secret control with no resistance, or at least very limited resistance. Myra in the first line of defense, and once again with this boost, jump spotting here, and again, they're going to find the opening off the back of it. They can start to scale quickly. They know there's not going to be a lot of presence here ready, and all they have to do is play the trade game, not even. Luchov going to drop, and I think this is safe territory at this point. But the implications of this being that you're going to be rocking into this next round with, at the very best, like 2,400. Holding onto these rifles is what you need to do. Simple as that.
But that's if they let you, right? I mean, I know the money for Arctic isn't all that much great either, but still, considering the outlook for Isurus right now, you've got to consider this. And he even puts that turret from get-go, another pick taken, and that's the AK dropped. MaLLby, I don't even think he's going to go even further with that. He's just going to sit and hold, make sure that rifle can't be picked back up from Isurus. MP9 and an M4 is all you might be allowed to say, but again, that's still if they let you have it. I think Nox is a pretty good lock for the next round. The only one that I have concern about is Reversa.
Yeah, and even holding onto an MP9 is your best case scenario is not pretty.
No, not
you want much more than that here. He's going to be dead to rights, surely. He does find his kill. Maybe he'll be able to hold on here. Time of essence. It's about to expire. She bought some shadows, man. He's able to get out of dodge. That's a great pickup from him. Able to upgrade onto the AK, even tosses a FAMAS over to one of his teammates. That's going to enable some more utility. But at the end of the day, you're looking at this buy, and it's not what you want to be at when your back's against the wall, when you need to win 5 in a row.
No, absolutely not. And there's no reason to think that they can do it, because the achievements from them in this half have been very minimalistic. 2 FAMASes, an AK, an M4, and an MP9 to try to keep themselves alive in this game. Arctic, you don't get a better shot than this one. Molotov heard, burning up a player in the front of the red bin, but the kill goes the way of Isurus.
Ooh, and nice cover right there from Nos. They try and find utility damage onto some of these players, but nothing landing here to try and flush out Luchov. He's able to get out of dodge in time. Now, they have snuck a player down the vents here. Maybe he can sneak in through secret. Does he expect Myron to be here, though? Is a question. A lot of this round lies on what he can do in his position. He's the only one who's able to create space right now. The other 2 players kind of stuck in towards lobby.
Unless they're going to try to pull this one back. They've done it before. Maybe they can do it again. All these MP9s, though, firing off. You can feel how scared they are just in the way they play these rounds and the way they take some of these gunfights. And Arctic, considering the confidence they must have oozing up right now, there's no reason to call this a save just yet. You've won rounds like this before. Why not try it once more?
MaLLby's got a great lurk as well. Look at this. Not going to be expected here in the ramp room. Nos is going to take first contact, potentially. In the meantime, MaLLby's cleared out at least the first prong of ramp room. Could be hiding in that J-Hall corner, and that has to be calmed over. Bonter nails the shot. That's a great pickup right there. Falling off for control. MaLLby doesn't spot the guy right around the corner. Myron's going to open up the doors. Gets caught blindsided. They don't expect that forward positioning. And there you go. MaLLby able to strike secondary. He's getting chased down, though. Multiple members from Moss. Not being able to connect the shots. The AK will, though. Reverse of chasing them down. 10 seconds left, and they're going to open up all prongs. Couple shots landed from Ponter, low on HP, and 6 seconds is just not enough time to win this round, unfortunately for him. Starts to maybe make the plant, but yeah, he's gonna go down after time potentially. Oh my god, what a big kill!
Gotta stay alive. You can't let them take this AK away from you.
Well done.
They're still doing so much extra damage. Like again, they come into this round with a worse off buy than they did the previous.
Yeah, that's brutal. And Arctic almost pulling off another 3v5, man. You kept on saying it, but it's so true. They've been able to do it so many times before. They just keep on making very, very tricky rounds look possible, and if not, you know, just converting them straight up. So, if you're Isurus, you got to be capitalizing on some of these man advantages, surely. I mean, that has to be where they get their success, but that hasn't been the case at all.
Right, and if there's one thing I like watching about this Arctic team, it's the fact that they don't just instinctively go for save calls. Like, in the lower tier of South America so far, I mean, you can tell there's a lot of these teams who are very timid, very shy about their approaches back into some of these rounds. When they already look a bit bleak, they don't even give it the thought of an attempt. But Arctic, what they'll do is, they'll dip their toes in the water. They'll see, oh, okay, are we going to be able to pull these off? Like, what is it going to look like when we go in these big disadvantages? And so far, every single time it's been enticing. So Isurus have given them no reason to think, all right, well, let's just save because there's no way we're going to win this round. Because every single time, they make it look doable.
That's been enticing, and it's kind of set them up for success here. in terms of breaking that economy, but that does not set you up for success right there. MaLLby's just dropped on the lower site with the bomb. There's no one within reach either, so not pretty. Another one dropping. And I think so with this round here. I think that's a guarantee, man. That I don't see a world where they can pull this one back, man. 3 on 5. But they do like to go for these like we had just mentioned, so we'll see what they can gather. I just think a kill like that, a round like that, it's over. It's decided once that bomb hits the deck, yeah.
Makes a little bit more sense, too. But at the same time, it kind of doesn't. Because, like, this isn't really a worth save. You've got Ponter on a Tech 9. Like, essentially what you're doing here right now, if you're Arctic, is you're saying, okay, ninjaZ and MaLLby, you're forcing in the next round. Like, you have to buy up with us. And that puts so much pressure, subconsciously, on Arctic's shoulders to actually find this round in the next couple, because if you lose this next round, you go to an eco. That's 13. You bring out the rifles on 14, and that's going to be your last investment. There is, like, really only one more beefed up buy for Arctic, barring they don't get the bomb down, which doesn't seem all that realistic to expect in these next couple of rounds.
Yeah, that's I don't like that, right? A little bit scary, like you said, man. That's exactly how these comebacks can take place, and especially being on that CT side here. Nuke, you know, Isurus haven't looked like they can convince us of too much so far, but now you got full rifles, so you're definitely gonna have all the utility that you could ask for. Only thing you're really missing in the firepower department here for Isurus is going to be that op presence, which is no big deal, right? Nox has been very good with the op, but he's also been serviceable with the rifle. He hasn't been a heavy hitter. I mean, it's been Luchov finding a lot of the consistent success here. So, like you said, it's a force buy from Arctic. And all the pressure now going to be put on this round here. If they fail to close this one, even without a bomb plant, money's going to be very bleak. And that's going to be, you know, the distance secured at least for Isurus. Or potentially.
And that's the end goal, right? Bring this back to a point where in your minds you can think this is doable, this is makeable and achievable. Oh, hold on there. Inches away from finding what would have been a jaw-dropping opening pick for Arctic Esports, but now once again they go back and slow it down. Oh no! That might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because considering how loose they've been with their utility usage so far, they're going to have next to nothing left to actually stop this T side from coming through. Let alone a man advantage when they also just start grouping up and pouncing into the site.
Man, that's a huge pickoff right there. 4 on 5 advantage now. Creating some chaos. Look at the rotations. They're all starting to scramble here a little bit on the CT side. Definitely the case at the moment. And they can really start to pressure other extremities on the map. Ramp control is kind of in the picture here. But, oh, there you go. Nice answer back from Iron. He's going to answer things. Still pressured. He's down to 16 HP. It's a pretty healthy health advantage right now for the east side. Sticking out there, Luchov going to extend that advantage. What a turnaround on the MaLLby as well. He had the flank, but that avenue's closed down, and it all comes collapsing. A 1-on-3 now for Ponter to close out. He's picked himself up an AK as well.
One of the more winnable clutches we've seen this series, though. You got the bomb down, you get to play the post plant, and with Myron as low as he is, you really only have to worry about somebody like Reversive right now, and he tucks himself into the back of the silo, tries to isolate these gunfights over in ramp, but now he's fighting a war on 3 different fronts that's just simply unwinnable, though he gets these digits punched in, and that was the end result, the end goal that Arctic were looking for, right? Get themselves some further funds to buy in these next couple of rounds.
That's 13, though, and I think if you're Arctic, you have to go for a half buy here, right? A similar buy to what you had in the last round, where you have some firepower, you bring something to the table. But they definitely want to save for the last round of the half, right? You don't have enough money for everyone to have AKs. So here's a perfect round that you can go for a half buy. And that's how Isurus can secure themselves the distance here. That's how they can take it to the 30th round. They can keep themselves alive and honestly get one off the close. That wouldn't be too bad at all.
Absolutely not. And they're just going to go with Glocks in this one. So, albeit, this is going to come down to the wire. Arctic, this once absolutely insane lead they had has just disappeared in front of their eyes.
All of a sudden, at the final hurdle, it seems like they have lost their grip on consistent T-side success here. And honestly, not a bad round in the previous, right? If they could replicate some sense of that last round, just make sure to clean up the mid round, where maybe people overextend to try and extend an advantage, then that's exactly how you could win. But we'll see if that's the case here. Oh man, no way! Short, what a shot on a Nos to open things up. What an important one as well. 4-on-5 now. Once again, that man advantage held on to from Arctic, but it's still just Deagles. They can recover here easily, Isurus.
Sure, right. It's not room for panicking just yet. No reason to think that this round is going to go the other way. Just chillax. That's all you got to do. These Eagles do eventually have to come back into you. So, I mean, respect where it's due. Type your NS's in chat right now if you're Nox, but should still be an Isurus favorite ground.
No doubt. Low HP on MaLLby, right? They're still holding on to a couple of advantages, including that firepower here. But Arctic, I said it, man. They are cleaning up this mid-round. You know, making no mistake, not overextending. They're gearing up for an execute, and I think that's exactly what they need to do here and now when they have that advantage here. They're going to test the ramp room. They've got MaLLby already, or ninjaZ rather, who's snuck down in toward the vents, so all the pressure on Luchov, and he succeeded once before.
Nobody's just spotted them, and we all know how these stories go. When you test the rifles and ramp, it's never going to go your way, but that one is. ninjaZ catches a free pick out of Deco, jumping down the bench with the P250. Bomb's still going to have to make its transition down to the lower site, but Myron has proved to be a bit more of an issue and a nuisance than they would have initially hoped for. Ponter still keeps us even in the 2-1-2, but it is just going to be his deagle against the world. And where's Myron gone? Well, you have absolutely no idea. Creeps into the corner, 14 for Isurus. Still close, but no cigar. Arctic always make a round out of these, don't they?
They sure do. Nice shots being landed right there, but like you said, man, walking into the ramp room with the position right there from Luchov and with how well he's playing individually as well, man. Just not going to go your way at the end of the day, is it? And Isurus grabbing a 14th. We'll see if they can get that 15th round here. We'll see if the distance required. A little overtime potentially in the cards here. Nos has gotten onto an AWP once again, but last round that did not save him from the Deagles.
Last chance avenue. And now if there's any time for Arctic to show us what they're made of and how to close out a game, it's right here and now. Boy, would I not want to play overtime against an Isurus who might be this warmed up, considering, look, you'd have to pick up 5-6 rounds in a row to get to this point. Mob of Nox gonna potentially give up the opening pick as he creeps and crawls his way into a secret peek. Both of these players, so timid, so patient. It's so tempting, but one of them's gonna have to make the opening move here shortly, considering the full-on A-side executes coming through, sitting in the middle of a Molotov reverse him. Might not be alive very much longer, but he's still able to double down. The bomb dropped in the midst of the A site in that once great position that Short had. He has to just forfeit it up and give it away. And even caught on the retreat. MaLLby can't get back in lobby. Bomb drop once again, this time 2-on-5. It'd be the biggest clutch we'd see from Arctic all day. Saw a couple of 3-on-5s now, but he had another number to the picture, and it seems like it's all but done. Left all up to Short, who had that initial good position. And he might be able to find a couple in from this heaven flank. But as all said and done, Isurus might have just done it to earn overtime.
Yeah, feels like that's the case here. Huge 3K from Reversive. If that would have went wrong on that A side, and you would have seen, you know, that position coming through in Secret, that fight, that head-to-head, and Nox drop. I mean, that's very quickly going to be, you know, into the 5v3 positions. You know, maybe some trades on the A side, but it would have been site claimed, and that would have been disaster for Isurus. So, Reversive stepping up when it was required the most, when it was needed, and Isurus taking, what was it, 5 in a row now to get into this position, into overtime, is absolutely massive. That has all the momentum in their favor. And what's to say now that they have 10K on the start money, that they're going to hit the brakes at all?
Yes. Quite incredible. Arctic have really fizzled out on this T side too. I don't even know if we can necessarily chirp it up to just Isurus being really good, because I mean, obviously a majority of it is just them hard countering them, pulling back disadvantages even when consistently they haven't been able to find openers. But I mean, you got to admit, Arctic have kind of slowed it down a little bit. Now they want to pick up the pace right once again, and this time Short won't be having to give up that really good in forward position. 3-on-5 this time for Isurus to try to pull back, and with the lower bomb site compromised, they're gonna have to find one hell of a kill.
Resisting regulation, man. They could have used a round like this so desperately. Finding a double opener. They still are holding on for regression. They're holding on for mistakes to be made. And in the meantime, MaLLby actually going to take a lot of space here towards this A side. He's clearing out some pretty valuable information. They've got points of cutoff all throughout the map. Nos spotted out here. Short doesn't want to play with fire. Instead, he's going to throw some fire down of his own. Ooh, man. Crucial miss. I don't think that would have saved them, though. Still, 2-on-5. And that's going to be an encouragement into this lower side. But MaLLby's just cleared out all of A. So what's the game plan here?
I don't know, but they've kind of exchanged positions right now. That being Reversive alongside him, who's somehow snuck his way into lobby through A. MaLLby still aware of this, dude. That's insane. Oh, man. Isurus. It's the Haze curse. Haze's law. I mean, when you fumble the bag and drop 4 or 5 rounds to allow overtime to slip through the cracks, it's always that team who had the map point and the series chance to close it out who end up picking up the first round. It's just the way of the world.
And it is, man. You could have used it in regulation, but you'll take it now. Even if it's a little bit delayed on the close, they're starting things off in that fashion. So very strong for Arctic. Again, we're rocking with 10k start money. So if they lose this one, it's just they're going to be in a bit of a scary position. No, it's not a lot of cash flow going their way. Deco, what is this spam for MaLLby? Again with ninjaZ sneaking down the vents, being a constant nuisance. Isurus giving up so much space to this T side.
And that's just wasted out all of Deco's utility belt. He has to expend that smoke instead of being on the single door where he would have liked to have it done. And same goes for the team of Isurus. Now, hello there. Your package is here, Nox. It's ninjaZ with his back turned. Quick 5-on-4, and now Arctic have to pull this one back from the deficit.
That they do. Grabbing that man advantage here, losing that space, and I mean, a scary position. You don't want to be battle hopping in rounds like these, but Nox able to build up some confidence here. He's right on. Just pull the trigger, please. That would be absolutely absurd. He was right on the head, man. That would have been insane.
You are a masochist sometimes, huh?
God, would you imagine though? The backs.
I'm with you. You always want him to. No matter who you're rooting for, he's like, oh, do it, come on.
Realize what they could have had here. Still a 4-on-5. They have a lot of space towards Squeaky. Reversive jump spotting in the back of Silo is definitely a sound cue given over. And they're going to have a very good setup towards the A site here. MaLLby's going in towards the back of Silo. Utility being thrown out here as well, and they start to make the collapse.
Top of the Raptors, first man falls. Deco can't respond on the trade, and now it's all up to Reversive at the back of the site. Still, trades come through as people sprint up through smokes. It's very weird ways to find trades, but I guess ways to find trades no less. And it leaves Nox in this clutch scenario to come back in through heaven with the AWP. There's no reason not to go for a round like this, or actually another kind of is, considering if you lose this big green, you're not going to get it back out. History. Awkward position. Is he going to be expecting this flank all the way around the Raptors? Oh, certainly not. No, this is going to catch him off guard 10 times out of 10. Tenfold, and Nox now drops into the bomb site, not aware of where this last man is. Uncrouches into the headshot of Short, and there's 17 for Arctic. Better late than never, they get this lead guaranteed on the T side, and one more could just be the beginning of the end, which almost feels guaranteed when you look at the money of Isurus.
Yeah, brutal stuff, man. If this is a sweep, Isurus are going to be walking into this one with absolutely nothing coming up in this next round, and walking into that T side with some extreme limitations here. I mean, what do they even bring here? Timeout maybe to discuss what they want to buy, but they don't have enough money for a single A1S here. Maybe Luchov can buy it, and you probably want him on the A1. But so far in overtime, I don't think he's found a kill yet.
Well, I mean, you're better off still putting it in his hands than somebody else, considering you don't know who's going to be the one to show up, and you don't know if that's going to be consistent for Luchov. Track record shows that if anybody's going to deliver, it's him, so you might as well give him the rifle. But he's only given him usually SMG. This could come back to bite Isurus.
That I can. Scary stuff here. A1S and Nox alone. See what he can do with it. Scary territory. Important bit of utility being thrown out here to claim that out of yard control. Somehow he's finding the spam. Nox pressured. He has to type it through the MaLLby, through the flames. He's down to 26 HP, man. From bad to worse, it seems. And again, all Arctic need to do is kind of default out into the mid round. They know that there's a lack of utility here. They know that for a fact. ninjaZ playing around the corner here. A beautiful shot from Luchov. He doesn't need an A1 to find the success. He'll grab himself an AK as well. But here comes the collapse.
Right back, though. And they're going to come collapsing into the A site off of that. I mean, look, as well as he did to find that opening pick, it's overcommitment from every single player across the board. 18-15, and what could very easily lead to the end of proceedings here.
That is so sick right there. Flawless coming through, and it was a nice attempt, right? He finds the opening. He looks to start things off so good for Luchov. It's been a real shining light for Isurus, but now I feel like it's bleak as ever. They have a mountain to climb in this T side, and they did put up a pretty decent half, but it's a whole nother story, right? This is a sweep on the T side. Arctic, surely they could close out a singular CT round.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a mountain the size of Everest, but they left their climbing gear in the van, and Isurus are going to have to come up with mere sticks and stones. The buy's in, right? But we all know the story of T-side Nuke. I don't have to elaborate it for anybody, and you can just tell the pace Arctic take. They want to get this one over with. Maybe the overzealousness is what cost them last time, but you've also got to remember that was in the T-sided perspective. Now, on the defense, they continue to push this envelope. With 2 players still stuck around in lobby, they're going to go ahead and crunch in. Man spotted atop the blacktop, and even the second spotted as well. MaLLby, does he commit? He does, and he's even spotted the foot of that man in Luchov. Bit of an overcommitment, and while he's dinked up through the wall, he's been given an avenue and an opportunity to back away. History in from the ramp room converges in with him. This might be the beginning of the end. Bomb still dropped, but they keep us clean in the 2-on-2. History. Not too easy to back away. He's not one that just gives up space for free. You know he'll fight tooth and nail to shut down this game. But with the footsteps heard going into the A site, Short, all he's got to do is deny this plant, and that's exactly what he's going to pop up and do and deliver. 1v2, Myron behind the smoke. Is he going to find the back turned of Short? He just very well could. But it doesn't seem all that realistic for him to close out this round. 40 seconds to go, and they're both playing so patiently.
That they are. They know that they just have to let Myron make the next move here. He has to claim bomb first things first in a nice position there. Bolstering up that A side right there, and it's going to be a close as clean as you like. Coming through in overtime. They show no signs of struggle here, and it will be Arctic claiming that first place prize here in the 3rd qualifier. That's a huge accomplishment for them. Again, that'll give them easier competition later down the line. But with all that being said, guys, we're going to throw it to a quick break. We'll be back with best of 3 to determine whether or not these teams can maybe be a replacement if one falls out. So we'll be back with that matchup right after this.